I am Louisa Kiwana Olafuyi, aka Oluwafunke, and I am OnPeople.
Today's guest is a trailblazer in Africa's children media. She is a Ugandan-born innovation specialist turned children's content creator who went from researching consumer insights at global giants like Unilever and Cambridge University Press to building her own edutainment empire. She co-founded Kunda Kids in 2020 with her husband Dele during the pandemic, with a mission to create world-class African content for children. Under her leadership as COO, they've produced the acclaimed 3D animated series Kunda and Friends, launched financial literacy programs, and built learning resources that let African kids see themselves in the stories that they watch. She's won recognition from the Female Founders Group Program, AOT Lagos Startup of the Year, and the CC Hub MasterCard Foundation EdTech Fellowship. We have the one and only Louisa Kiwana Olafuyi, representation champion and architect of the Kunda universe.
Welcome to OnPeople, Louisa.
Welcome, Louisa.
Yeah, very excited to have you. And not just on OnPeople, but also in Nigeria.
I know. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
I think we were just talking about the fact that we met like a year ago,
Yes.
so it's like our anniversary.
It is. It was a year ago today, literally. Oh, wow. So many congratulations.
Thank you.
In order. So first of all, partnering with Brussels Airlines
Yes.
to feature Kunda and Friends. I mean, that
Thank you so much.
in their in-flight entertainment system
Yes.
across 3 countries. So flying from Canada.
Yes,
the
all long haul flights.
Oh, wow.
Now all international long haul flights.
I've already started that's the first one.
Thank you.
And then also being a finalist in
Yes.
CNN's African Business Hero.
Yes. So we were. I was in the top 20 for Africa's
Yes,
Business
I
Heroes
saw
this
that.
year.
Yeah.
That was an incredible achievement. They received over 32,000 applications.
Wow.
It really is the creme de la creme of African businesses. The stages, the rounds, the interviews are very intense. Probably some of the hardest interviews I've had professionally. So it wasn't easy. I was among some amazing startups and entrepreneurs. It meant a lot to be there amongst,
top 20.
Yeah. So,
Wow, that's the second congratulations.
Thank
and the final
you.
one, celebrating Ashanti and Nelly's baby's
Yes.
first birthday.
Yeah.
That was massive.
Thank
if you
you
grew
so
up,
much.
singing Foolish. My days ago without
I'm
you.
telling you.
I was like,
baby.
That's what she was I was like, wow, that was amazing. So
Thank
before
you.
that, if we just, now we're done with a lot of the congratulations.
Thanks.
We sort of peel back to the beginning with Louisa, little Louisa.
Okay.
Before work, before 2020, just take us through what happened, getting into 2020 when you started the business.
Okay, so at that point, I was a new mum.
Yes.
I'd also just come back to work from maternity leave. I was working at the Cambridge University Press, so I was in publishing. I was a senior product marketing. I'm trying to remember my job title. Senior product marketing manager, something to that degree, and. I was in Cambridge because my husband, my now co-founder, Dele, was just he'd finished doing his MBA, and that's why we were in Cambridge.
Okay.
But at the same time, the Black Lives Matter sort of movement was really coming to the forefront in terms of everybody's awareness and about the death and murder of George Floyd.
Yes.
my husband, Dele, and myself were asking ourselves, how do we plan to raise our child? Young black boy, mixed heritage, Nigerian, Ugandan, not even in the UK, in Cambridge maybe. What do we want him to know about himself, his heritage? How do we avoid these kind of things that we're seeing happening to other young black boys, happening to my own, and happening to, so a lot of that was the inspiration. And we came to the conclusion that what was really needed was for us as a community to have a better understanding of our history. And I think our sense of self-worth is influenced by how much we know about ourselves immediately, but also like the lineage we come from. I always grew up knowing I came from an amazing family and knowing that I'm amazing, and because other people were amazing before me, right?
And you were standing on their shoulders.
Exactly. But that was not what I was taught in school too. I was taught that black history started and ended with slavery, and I had a lot of reasons to not be confident if I didn't have a family that instilled that confidence in me, right? So I wanted to be intentional about that as a parent. And we looked for fun books for kids, preschoolers, about African history, and could not find a single one. So we just decided to write our own. And it's we were getting into lockdown, I think, at this point, or we were in and out of lockdown. I can't even remember where in lockdown we were, but we were locked down somewhere. And it might have been because we were just at home together all the time, coming up with crazy ideas. But this one stuck, and we wrote a couple of stories, and they weren't too bad. I didn't want to take them to be published because I was working in publishing, and I knew how elitist and discriminatory the industry can be. And I didn't think that any publisher would understand black women, black parents, African parents, our community better than myself. So we said, well, instead of going to a publisher, why don't we just create a publishing company to house our content? And praise be to God, we now write for other people, we publish internationally. We sold, I think, our first 30,000 books in just a few weeks. And that was when we were like, oh, okay,
there's something here.
And then Dele left his job. He was working at World Remit. He left his job, and then 6 months after I left a newer job. I was then at that point an innovation specialist at Unilever. I had an incredible job. I loved what I did so much. I worked with amazing people, but I left something really good for something great.
Something great. I love that. You left something really good
for something great,
and for something that you really believed in. And it was, sometimes you build things and the world isn't ready. But in this case, you were building, and the world was just waiting. Just waiting and wondering who's going to take this up, who's going to take this up. And there comes Louisa and Dele. Just there.
So it's been an incredible journey, going from mum and dad writing cute books that are just being bought by our friends and inner circle, to now being the fastest growing children's media, taking African stories to a global audience. It's insane, but it's incredible.
Wow.
I know that we have other questions, but I kind of wanted to just peel back. So you and Dele were working in different places. This idea came actually from, it wasn't just some idea you just stumbled on, it was your own lived experience at the time. And this was COVID, so there were so many factors working in your favor. At that point, you probably didn't even realize, but there's so many factors happening, working in your favor. What is it like, even building with your husband? Because that's one thing. You were co-founders, and actively involved. I see him selling. I see you selling. I see you marketing, just selling the gospel of African kids to the world, African heritage, culture to the world. What is it like building with your husband?
It's been tough, but it's been incredible. I think we have done so well as a team. Both of us would never recommend this to anybody. I do get asked this question every now and again, and I had our team, we had a Kunda Kids team day yesterday, and I got asked a similar question by our head of product, and it's challenging. It doesn't work for a lot of people. And I can understand why, and I wouldn't recommend it. Generally speaking, I'm not even sure I recommend entrepreneurship. Generally speaking, unless you've got a certain grit and tenacity about you, or you just can't detach from your love to solving this problem. Then don't bother. Yeah, just consult or freelance or something. But entrepreneurship is really tough. It tests every aspect of your being, and then being an entrepreneur, and then being a parent, and then doing it all in the most exposed way with your partner. I mean, it's been a journey, but fundamentally we're a great team.
Yeah,
you know. I have my reasons why I think we're a great team, but I'll tell you what my team said to me on observation about why they think Dele and I work together as good co-founders. So the first thing I think they said is that Dele will always have my back in everything. And that is 100% correct. You cannot be in a room with my husband and say anything about me. No. You cannot be anywhere and say anything about me, even if what you're saying fundamentally my husband knows is correct. He'll address it with me later. Yeah. He'll be like, "What happened with this?" Or "I heard this," or "What happened?" But with everybody else, he'll be like, "No, like, you know, we have each other's back." Right? We're a united front always. Again, nobody could even fathom coming to me and talking about my husband anyway. To me, about me, in earshot, it's impossible. I wouldn't stand for it at all. And again, I'd be like, "What are you talking about?" But I'll call my husband and be like, "What's going on?" You know? So I think we have a very strong level of loyalty.
Yeah, that's so good.
And also how we handle conflict. I think we've really matured and become quite well seasoned about conflict resolution, how we deal with different levels of dispute.
Love it. Yeah. How long have you been married?
7 years. We just had our 7th anniversary. We've known each other for about 12, 13 years.
Completion. Oh, awesome.
So I think definitely that's that. There's also a mutual respect.
Loyalty, respect.
Yeah, my upbringing, and you probably been able to decipher this from my demeanor, but I'm usually quite a calm person.
Yeah, very calm.
You know, you're never going to find me shouting or losing it, right? It doesn't mean I won't have something to say when something needs to be said, but I'm not going to lose myself, right? And likewise, you know, my husband wouldn't do that. We don't have a shouting culture. We don't have we're very intentional with the words that we use. There's no recklessness around vocabulary. So I think those...
She has a way with words. She sure does.
So I think those things come into light. And then fundamentally, we dearly and sincerely really love each other.
I mean, I wasn't going to do this. I hate when people do this to women, right? But I mean, you know, I'm such a love person, you know, so you're just sharing. But beyond just, we love each other, you've really shared some fundamental things. You're loyal, you know, you respect each other, you have, you know, each other's best interest at heart, and you cover for each other, even if you're, you know, secretly and privately saying to each other, "What was that about? What happened? How could you?" But in public, you're like, "Well, I can see how this may have happened. I kind of get why he would." Even in your mind, you're screaming.
And I would do the same to you as a friend too. Yeah, it's generally how I think is a good way to conduct relationships that you want to maintain in your life.
Yeah, that's so important.
It's the right thing to do. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. That was a great answer to a very long and winding, you know, first question with tentacles.
I heard you talk about how knowing about how amazing you are and how great you are is, especially from an early age. Yes. And I think one of the songs from Kunda and Friends that started to play in my mind was, "I know I'm special. You're special too.
I love myself.
You should love you too. I love myself." I immediately knew where that came from. But let's backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
Pre-Kunda and Friends.
let's
What
go.
happened? Tell us about the Cambridge University Press. You know, it was a global outreach opportunity. How did that shape your mind? How did that help you begin to see the possibilities of Kunda? Did it influence you in any way?
So at the time, obviously, Kunda Kids was not yet a thing, but I can't discredit the influence that experience had.
Absolutely.
And I think there's a lot to be said about learning from the moment, even when you don't know what the moment is for, because it all adds up at some point. But it's like when it's not making sense to you in the moment and you're like, why am I here? I think it's about having trust in God that He has a plan for you, and even though you might not have the answers in the moment, that there is a reason, you know, whilst you're here. It wasn't my plan to move to Cambridge. I had a great job as an agency. I was working with beauty brands, and I come from an FMCG, so beauty product and just consumer product background, and I love that. I love marketing and, you know, why you like the things that you like and all of that. But you know, I wanted to be there with my husband when he was doing his MBA, so I needed to find work in Cambridge. So going into education was new for me. Learning about the business of education was so fascinating. Yeah, it's a completely different space. I think I certainly honed my skills on B2B stakeholder management, looked at how products are created from the ground up, and how global campaigns are run, because it was a global role. We had, you know, consumers in Latin America, in Asia, all over the world. So I love that. I learned so much. I also did see how Africa is deprioritized sometimes when it comes to the quality of educational resources and to innovation happening in the continent. There are legitimate and then maybe less legitimate reasons for that. But it certainly was an education, and I'm grateful for the experience. It was only really ever meant to be for a season, but it was one I felt like I was able to extract a lot of value from.
That's so good. That's so good. So what would you say that from that experience your most important skills have been?
I think my most important skill, this is personally, I think that this is not just a skill, maybe more of a talent of mine. I have a very strong background in consumer insight. So not just market research, but behavioral economics, trends, and how things are influencing people's decision-making process and how that feeds into consumer products. I love that. That's my space. Yeah, when you want to talk about that on a podcast, bring you in. But I love feeling out people and understanding people and trying to get to the root of their desires, maybe even before they have. So I loved having a platform to be able to do that. I love running focus groups. I've done a lot of observational research, which is one of my favorite. I remember there was a project, if you don't mind me just diverting slightly. Of course, please there was a project I worked on with KFC. It was about chicken nugget optimization. So it was about different kind of chicken nuggets, how like the texture, how it makes people feel, the impression, and there's a lot of budget and research going into the development of nuggets, KFC rivaling McDonald's and format and all this kind of stuff. So I used to sit in people's houses. I came with a KFC order. I'd have to go to the main KFC kitchen, come with a KFC order, sit in people's houses and watch them eat KFC. Right? That's my job. I'm like, you mind your business. I'm just here. I'm not
like you don't see me.
Yeah. And it's fascinating how people interact with their family. As for me, I'm looking at a research. I want to know where these nuggets come in. Are they the first thing that's eaten? Are they the last thing? Are they the special thing? Are they like the thing that they hate the most? Is it like the treat that the parents have to save for the children? Do they dip them? How do they dip them? What are they dipping them in?
There's science to everything,
I'm telling
right?
you. So I think back to your question, one of the talents or the skills I think I've been able to hone in my career and bring to my business is about consumer insight. Is about I can be having a lunch with mums and we're just having a conversation about parenting and everything, but a lot of things are going on in my mind about understanding your customer journey, about understanding your priorities, about how I want to communicate to you. So I have the ability to have that line of thinking, which I find really helpful, and which I think is both a talent and a skill. It's something I'm naturally good at, but it is a skill that I've worked to finesse and hone.
Yeah, that's good. So I'm thinking, while you were speaking, I was there's just so much. I was like, oh my goodness, first of all, there's a science to everything.
There is a science to everything.
How do they dip it? Do they not dip it? Do they pick it first?
What do they dip it in?
Is it a treat? Is it a scary thing?
Yes.
How do they interact? I mean, Hugo is almost like she went in there. Case how people interact with
chicken nuggets.
It's amazing. I thought about the fact that, two nationalities, right, come together married. They have the advantage of setting up in Nigeria. They have the advantage of setting up in Uganda. You've almost like you've doubled the different things or the different approaches that you could have gone. And I'm just like, wow, that is how you leverage the relationships that you have or the relationships that you are in, and choose maybe the easier route for you now. But now I'm thinking, 5 years into this, what would you say has been the steepest learning that you went in? Because you already had an advantage. You'd come from a background of publishing, of customer insights, market research. But what was the one thing where you thought, snap, I didn't know this before, and I've had to learn it very quickly just to survive?
Yeah, great question. I would say the steepest learning curve for me is understanding fundraising. Okay, let's start there. Now, I have the privilege of having a co-founder with one of the best MBAs in the world. So there's a wealth of knowledge and expertise and experience that he brings to the table. But I was also learning everything in real time, and I got an A star in business studies. I'd like to throw that out there. But I was not attuned to how business really works when you're scaling a startup. I came from, I've had various different smaller business ventures and projects, but I was coming from you have a project, you have something, you set your price point, you reinvest and you build, but I hadn't really thought about raising capital, how that works, understanding the intentions and the difference in behaviors and expectations from an angel, from a VC, from private equity, from understanding how to collect people's capital together and create like syndicate groups and then different instruments for investing. I had to learn all of that in real time. June, I'll be honest in saying that I think the first couple of years I was really intimidated by it. I was really intimidated by it.
Understandably so.
I don't like the idea of imposter syndrome because I feel like I've never felt like I don't deserve to be in the room, okay? But there were definitely insecurities there, and I used to be really happy to leave it all to Dele. Talk to me about the creative stuff, the product, the songs, but when it comes to
money matters,
I used to be a little bit scared of that. I'd go to networking things, and then like if there's somebody asked me like, okay, what's your valuation? What are you thinking about doing this? Or inquisitive questions. Not only sometimes even if I knew the answer, I wasn't confident in what I was talking about. And you smell and see confidence before you hear it.
Yes, you smell it.
So that's something I had to learn, and I think Dele has been a really patient coach in that he has tried to keep me informed and educated, and he plays things and sends me things and stuff like that. But fundamentally, he's always said that I can't teach you have to yearn for the information. Yeah. Was I yearning?
No.
I don't know. But I knew that I wanted to grow the business. I knew that I wanted to be a better business owner. I don't like ever feeling defeated or not confident or second guessing myself. That always makes me feel like, oh, there's a knowledge gap or there's something that you need to work on. So it really was just that. I started to put myself forward in situations. Dele also championed me to speak up about things, and he always passes the mic to me in pitches, so that there's always a good balance, there's a good rhythm. So that's been a steep learning curve for me, honestly. Just learning how the business works. Media, how that works. It's a very closed and also a very elitist place to work. It's something that we've had to navigate with a lot of finesse, and the rejections, the no's, nobody, like, I wish there was an Instagram account for all the bad days, because nobody understands everything that you go through. They only see
the limelight and all the.
So I say that because I'm on a really exciting journey. After we raise our seed, which we're closing quite soon, we may not plan to raise a Series A, and I'm really looking forward to trying to own that a little bit more. And I'm doing the groundwork in doing that, and I'm trying to confront things that I'm not good at, and see what there is to learn about that.
Wow. So first of all, when I asked that question can go either way, but you've just answered it with such authenticity, honesty, vulnerability, and I applaud that.
Thank you.
Because most people, people are just like, this and that, but I think that was really good. And this is one of the reasons that sometimes you see that investors are very keen on co-founder situations. And so when you have the co-founder mix that is right, it works.
Yeah.
So someone understands, valuations and all the financials and financial modeling and planning, and somebody else is creative, especially because what you do requires a lot of creativity.
Yeah.
And you can have higher teams, but it's good that two people are championing things, but they're also saying, you have to yearn to learn. I mean, I love that. I'm going to start saying that to you guys.
Yearn to learn.
Guys, you have to yearn to learn. Know it for yourself. And he's pushing it so that way you leave all pitches feeling as though both of you have contributed. Again, first of all, shout out to Dele. Where he is, when he listens to this. I hope, just
Dele, take your flowers. We're praising you.
Take your flowers. Take your flowers, So amazing. I'm glad that. Thank you for sharing. And I have to say that, the no's and the rejections can be a lot. I got my first no. And, when I was done, I literally just shed tears. And the no was done with such love and care.
Grace.
Because it was from people, and grace, because it was people who knew me, and they were like, it's not even a no, it's a not yet. And I just was, oh my goodness, So I know how that can be. And to hear people just talk about the bad sides or the downsides of, fundraising. Well done.
Yeah. I mean, you asked me about Africa's business heroes, and it was such a privilege to get to the top 20, and it was such a sacrifice to be there
as
too.
Well.
And as grateful and excited as I was to be there, not making it to the top 10 did hurt a little bit, right? But it's all part of the game.
It is. Top 20 is great too.
It's all part of the game.
If I made top 32,000, I'll be speaking about it as well. I'll be like, oh my goodness.
I had to take some time to sit in that disappointment. Okay. But after the sitting, all I could really feel was like, let's show everybody, let's show these people
that they have to see what they missed.
I was like, is this my villain origin story? Maybe. But what it did is that it birthed
a desire.
It turned like the anger and the disappointment into such a deep need to drive everything that I'm doing, right? And, you know, Dele's been saying a little bit like, you know, since you've come back from Senegal, it's been a lot. You know?
What happened? What happened?
But it definitely flipped a switch inside of me. Yeah. I'm grateful for the experience. I don't live a life with regrets. And, you know, not getting into the top 20 might have done more good than harm, I don't know. But for one thing it's made me a lot even more passionate than I was before, and I didn't even know that was possible. Because I'm like, this, you know, it's difficult sometimes with what to do with your emotions. So I really just have channeled that into,
it's important.
Let's go.
Yeah, people always think that you ride the waves for good things, but sometimes you ride the waves for bad things as well, and they fuel you and just take you there. So it's almost like
amazing people. I'm now I'm cultivating every single seed that was sown during that. I'm not leaving like anything, one thing unturned. I'm making sure that I think I've said this before, extracted all the value that I can from the situation.
That's a good title. It's a good title, isn't it?
Right. So talking about authenticity, you've made Kunda and Friends, and it speaks to a lot of Africans, right? Nigerians in the diaspora, Africans all over the world. They can just tell, just from hearing Kunda, you know, we're used to hearing something else that didn't sound like us. Do you feel like there is a weight of responsibility to represent African children or to represent Africa when you create your products?
Yes, I think that there is a huge responsibility for anybody that's dealing with anything regarding children, first and foremost. One of the questions that we often get is, Kunda Kids, are you educational? Are you entertainment? What are you?
We're both.
You know, we're both. But fundamentally, I don't believe that there should be children's entertainment that is not educational. So when people ask me that, I sort of have to respond almost in shock that those two things should not be mutually exclusive. So there is a huge responsibility that we have as a company, and I don't take that lightly at all. There are a lot of shows right now, especially targeted towards preschool children, that don't have an educational foundation, that have not been researched or tested, that from what we can see about how children are consuming them and their response to them, they're not having a positive impact on a child's developmental goals. It's content that helps mum have her meeting, load the dishwasher and do
distracts
things,
the child,
which we all need as parents.
We have to be honest,
but not at the expense of your child's welfare and the information that's been implanted in their conscious and subconscious. So we take that very seriously. When we develop songs, when we develop episodes, we really start from what is our goal. We have a developmental goal, potty training. We need to support parents with potty training. Fine, that is our developmental goal. What are the key challenges that parents face with potty training? Helping children understand their body and have body awareness, communicating what they need to do and when they need to do it. So these are things that we have to then implant into a cute rhymey song, with a sick beat. So there is so much intentionality that goes into it. We have a learning and development manager. We have a learning philosophy that's updated frequently, and we have involvement from teachers. We play things in schools. We kind of test things before they go out, because the responsibility is huge. Children's media is their window to the world outside of their immediate circle of influence, outside the things that they can see and that their parents and guardians can control. it also gives them an impression of the world, how people work within it, and their location within it. So especially in the case of Black and African children who are never centered and rarely centered in children's media, it gives the impression that they are not centered in life, generally speaking. When you see that there's only about 5 to 8% of children's books with a Black and African lead character, and only 2% of children's animations with a Black and African lead character, it sets a tone to children about which children should be the main character,
exactly.
and who shouldn't, right? So these are the kind of subconscious dynamics that we work very intentionally. We don't have episodes saying, I'm the Black boy. No, but we make sure that the right level of representation, at least for us, happens.
Yes.
It's normalized.
Yes.
It doesn't always have to be a special thing. Can we normalize our presence? Can we normalize being a main character? It doesn't have to be a one-off novelty. Can we make it normal, please? So I think that is what we're doing. Mainly, and the responsibility to do it is very high. There's a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves. There's a lot of safeguarding policies that we follow and constantly keep updated. When you're bringing children into a physical space, there are a lot of considerations that you have to have regarding the safety and the safeguarding of everybody, in person and online. It's a huge responsibility, not just on their immediate wellness, but also on the ideologies that we are implanting in their minds.
That's a solid weight of responsibility. I probably can very well relate because of the life season I'm in as well as a mom, but you're wearing that weight very well. And I like the fact that you say it's a self-inflicted, as it were, sense of responsibility. Nobody's checking you. But I'm sure the fact that you're equally a mom, you're a parent as well, and everything you put out, your children are also taking it. It puts a burden of responsibility on you, and you're really wearing it gracefully.
Thank you.
Okay. So I know that you've shared about having a neurodiverse child.
Yes.
You shared a bit about that, and we can tell that it would change how you see inclusion.
Absolutely.
A lot of what you do is really about inclusion as well. So is there something in Kunda and Friends, right, that exists specifically because of that experience with your child?
I think there are a lot of things that I could certainly point to.
Okay.
So, the first and most obvious thing is that my son's name is Kunda.
Oh!
So let's start there. So Kunda is the name of my son, my 6-year-old boy, who is my firstborn. Kunda means love in Uganda, Rukundo. So it's a derivative of that word. It means love. And that name was given to my son by my mum's mum, my grandma. She named
his
him
great
Kunda.
grandma.
Yeah. So that's what Kunda means. So Kunda Kids, love kids. It's what that means, and that is the name of my son. When we modeled the main character, we started with my son, right? And we wanted him to have a little bit of something in the show. So that's something.
That is something.
I definitely think how we create the songs, the intentionality around pacing, the color composition of the show, the frames, those are all intentional, especially with children with autism particularly, and sometimes just children that have high level of sensorial sensitivities. Shows that are too fast, too bright, too loud can be stressful. So, but Kunda and Friends is also musical, so it needs to have life. So finding that balance is important. Having songs that children have enough time to process is important. Making sure that they can comprehend what the song is about is really important. And those are some skills that are even more difficult sometimes with children on the spectrum. Being able to understand the situation, comprehend what the output is, being able to focus and to love the show. But I've had a lot of teachers, and particularly one teacher in Canada, who has told me on multiple occasions how useful the songs are particularly with the special needs children she has in her class, that they love the music. It calms them down. It refocuses them onto something. We have activity books, so like we can use the music to guide children into practical, workbook exercises and things. So there's so much of what we're doing is being inspired by my son. He has no idea.
Of course.
He probably thinks that every kid has a parent who works in media, and that everyone has lots of books and toys and music around in the house. His life is quite fun because of the work that we do. And he's hugely influential. Yeah.
First of all, I just want to big up our research team, because that was a great question. I didn't realize that, we're going to get this sort of response from you. But well done.
Thank you.
Sometimes you do work and then you do good work. And this is good work.
Thank you.
Completely. I hope Kunda's very proud of his parents. Maybe not now, because he's going to be like, so. I love you. But
he'll be proud when I bring toys back home later, So I think he's very oblivious to it
at the moment.
But he loves the show. He has Kunda Kids posters. He has baby sisters that are now getting to love the show too.
Aww.
So it makes us really proud that our children validate what we are doing, because children are honest. If they didn't like it, we would know, and they would probably be savage about how that's communicated to us. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
All right. So this question now is about representation in kids media. Is there a particular stereotype about African children that you were aiming to break the moment you started all of this work, about African children, African culture? Was there any such thing in your mind when you started out?
So we've talked a little bit about normalization. So that definitely was something that we wanted to do, is just to normalize the presence of the diversity of African children in children's media, make it a normal thing. Aside from that, I think there is the part of wanting African children to have something to celebrate about themselves, right? That is important, okay? Because wherever they are in the world, to be able to feel like your heritage is celebrated and you have somewhere to express that is important. However, or in addition to that, what makes Kunda Kids slightly different in my view is that we have a very strong focus on how non-African children experience Africa as well. Okay? When we talk about racism or discrimination, especially from the standpoint of a black experience, we are not racist towards each other. It is a product of others' ignorance. So it is important that we do the work for our own community, but it is equally important that we do the work for the global community, which is why Kunda Kids is a global first company taking African stories to a global audience. Okay? Now, the way, let's use K-pop Demon Hunters, right? Because everybody knows that show.
On Netflix.
So it's just an anime show that has really catchy music, and the music is great.
Okay.
And I watch everything because I like to know everything as much as I can. But that show has made children really excited and intrigued to explore Asia, to travel to Korea. Some children actually think it's Japanese just because it is anime adjacent, and now they want to go to Japan. But my point is that the show is impactful in branding the country and the culture. And media is a country's export. Media is really the marketing manager for a country and a culture. So in terms of what I want to address as far as representation, it is, yes, that children feel represented, but it is also that Africa is well represented to children who are not African. And their introduction to African culture, their introduction to African music, whether they make a new friend and they're from Ghana and they could be like, oh, I know something or someone or whatever from Ghana. We want that to be a positive experience.
Yeah.
We want it to be a fun experience, and children learn through play, so we want it to be a playful experience. And for all children. So there are a number of cultural nuances that we have to meet and manage as a business, as how Kunda Kids is experienced by non-Africans, how Kunda Kids is experienced by Africans in Africa, how Kunda Kids is experienced by Africans in the diaspora, how Kunda Kids is experienced by, say, African Americans who are different to Africans in America. So our customer base is diverse, exciting, and really needs to be understood for us to do good work. So that's one of the ways that we address representation, is trying to look at it holistically.
That's very thoughtful.
And very thorough.
Thoughtful and thorough, in fact.
Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, what's next for Kunda Kids?
A lot of things. A lot of things. So firstly, I'm really excited to share this because I have not marketed and shared it to anyone or anything. But we finally have some Kunda and Friends merchandise.
Oh, wow.
People ask us for merch all the time. And I've been very thoughtful about how I want that to work. You know, Deli and I have thought about it. But for now, we've put some lovely design things on the store, and we're looking forward to marketing it now that we're entering into Christmas. Some things are designed by our designers who know exactly what they're doing. Some things are designed by me because they've let me have a bit of fun and put my stamp on a couple of things. So I'm excited about that. Okay. I'm excited about how we're going to show up for Christmas this year. Yes. And 2026 is going to be so insanely exciting. Yeah. I don't know if I should talk too much, but we plan to be, we plan to show up in major cities around the world. Okay. Next year is the year that we are kicking down the door about we're a global company, right? And this year's been a little bit quiet. 2024, I was coming out of maternity leave. 2025, I'm trying to reestablish a tone, a culture, and a precedent with the team, get back into work, try to find a rhythm with life and everything in a new country. Now I feel like I'm a little bit more settled as a mom, as a woman, as a wife. I'm really excited about, going out guns blazing for 2026. Yay. It's going to be the first year that we are having events in the US. Okay. I believe Atlanta is our first stop.
Oh, wow.
We're also going to hopefully be I'm telling you, we're going to be in Houston and Washington and New York.
Oh, wow.
New York has been so much fun. So first of all, it's Ashanti really that brought me to New York. Yep. She loved the show. She got in touch, and it was a pleasure to meet her. And it was just insane to meet a star that you looked up to, that's looking up to you. It's like, what? That Spider-Man meme? Someone's looking at you. So she also was just a very genuine and such a lovely person, and her family were amazing. And again, lots of just data points to learn about the show and learn about how it can be more useful. But I also learned a lot about the East Coast Kunda Kids fan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I learned a lot about that demographic. I was able to have some time with parents and reach out to a couple of parents like on TikTok that messaged me. So I'm like, I'm about and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of them are very pro-Black children's content. A lot of them are very anti or very mindful about what their children are watching. And aggressive about protecting what their children consume. And really kind of ride or die in a very expressive way. So I love our East Coast audience. I cannot wait to do something for them particularly. How I feel about them now is how I used to feel, but how I have felt about our London community.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In 2024, we had a summer festival. I put on this festival about 4 weeks postpartum to having twins.
Wow.
I just don't even know, like, I think it was 8 weeks, to be fair. I don't even know how, but I knew we were leaving London and I had to do something for my people before we go.
Yes.
Yeah. So that same energy is the energy I'm
approaching
for next year.
Yeah.
I think hopefully we're going to do the UAE. I know that we're going to have a presence in Paris because we have a French show now. So you'll see us a lot more.
Oh, I can't wait. Can't wait. Well done.
You're doing great work.
Thank you.
All right. So we've gotten to the point in the conversation where we'll take the agony aunt question from someone in our community.
Talk to me. Tell me, how can I help?
All right. So I'm an early years educator, and I'm keen on making teachings both fun and engaging for my learners, but I struggle with finding the balance between solid research and entertaining content. If I focus too much on entertainment, people think I'm not serious. If I lean too heavily on research, it comes out too serious and my audience gets bored. How do I strike the right balance between credibility of my research findings and the captivating engagement that comes from sweet storytelling?
I mean, it's a great question. We have a very strong philosophy on learning through play. And I think that sometimes we underestimate that, both as parents and also educational practitioners, about the golden nuggets that happen in children's learning through play. I think it's perfectly fine and acceptable to have fun, engaging, entertaining resources, content, recommendations, experiences, whether with children or whether with your fellow educators. As long as you know that what you're doing is research backed, as long as you know that what you're doing is evidence based, I think the focus should be on maybe how you can better communicate that to your stakeholders, because it sounds like she knows what she's doing. It sounds like she's incredibly intentional and educated on the subject matter, but it sounds like more of a communication problem that she's having a hard time advocating what she's doing to people that she's working with or interact. That's what I have deciphered from this. So she sounds like she has everything she needs. If she needs a bit of encouragement that she's on the right path, she's doing great. As long as what she is doing that is fun is evidence-based, then we have no problem here. Because of it, it's fun. Children are going to engage with it. They're going to spend longer with it. And they'll be able to derive the learning outcomes as long as they're having fun, right? They're learning through the playful experience. That is not a problem at all. Nobody likes boring things. I think what she needs to do is find a way to communicate the educational aspect maybe in a more fun or interesting way, whether that's to her stakeholders or whether that's in storytelling or whether that's to children herself. I couldn't... it sounds like she has several stakeholders in this conversation, because it's a bit about the children, then a bit about the research. So I think she's doing great. And maybe she just needs to structure it or package it up.
Thank you. That's helpful. I hope. You find this response helpful. So concentrate on the communication, but also enjoy the play. All right.
So as we go into our last question, it's more a playful one. It's a one thing segment. So one movie, one book, and one song.
Oh boy. Okay, let's
and why?
go. All right. Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. So Louisa, one book.
One book. I think the most enjoyable book that I've read, and that I'm going to read again, and I've listened to the audio book as well, is The Ride of a Lifetime by Bob Iger.
Okay.
So he's the CEO of Disney.
Yes.
And an incredible story about how Disney was founded, about everything they've gone through, senior management, how he rose to that position, about executive management, executive thinking. I loved it for so many reasons. It's relatable. In terms of the business industry, but also in terms of his journey. And he wasn't a founder, he was a CEO. So it's a little bit more about leadership and management.
Yes. And growing from within.
Growing, yeah. It's. I really, really enjoyed it, and Dele read it too, and absolutely loved it, and I'd love to read it again. I think I'd probably learn new things the second time round. I recommend it highly.
10 over 10 recommend. So one movie.
A movie. Oh. I know I'm going to say something too, and then I'm going to be on my way home like, no,
I should have said this
one. Okay. Honestly, this might be because I've watched it recently, so it's top of mind. It also might be because I've watched it almost 5 times in the cinema, so I can really talk about this movie at this point, right? The Smurfs movie.
The
Smurfs movie. So, like I said, when children's media comes out, I'm there. It's homework. I also have kids. I'm ticking so many boxes at one time. But the Smurfs movie, I've learned a lot from in terms of production. Rihanna was involved in voicing and producing the movie on the creative production of the music. Watching my son watch it. So, the Smurfs is an old show.
It is old.
And it was old and boring when I was a child. And you could have never convinced me that the Smurfs were going to be cool.
Ever.
Right? But they've done something so interesting, and also how they touch on different touch points about confidence, speaking up for yourself, not knowing yourself, identity. I mean, my son is 6, okay, but actually they're really addressing some fundamental life things
even for adults as well.
Absolutely. So I really admire the approach. The first time I watched it, I was like, okay. Second time I watched it, third time, but I told you I've seen it more times than I should. But I love what they've done. It's been multi-generational. They've refreshed an entire IP, reinvigorated a whole new generation.
Yes.
It's really smart.
It's never over.
No.
Shout out to them. Never over. Lastly, one song.
So it's a Nigerian artist, and I'm really worried I'm going to butcher his name.
Okay, we'll try.
Me see where my phone is.
Hopefully we can help.
Because I couldn't even pretend. Let me see. He's a Nigerian artist that has beautiful music, and when I'm working, really calm and always puts me in a good mood. And also maybe because my husband is Nigerian, there's sometimes I romanticize Nigerian music because you're also wonderful with words. Right? You're just born poets. So I love the lyricism in this artist's music. So it's Obonjaya. So I really like him as an artist. He has a song called I Adore You. And I love playing it around the kids. I love playing it, with my family. It's just a song, I think, that is reflective of my mood, my style, my energy.
Yeah. So I'm going to listen. I Adore You.
Yeah.
By Obonjaya. Wow, awesome. So now we're at the end. Louisa, yay!
It was as fast and as fun as you promised.
Yeah.
So lovely.
Say it again, loud and clear.
It was and as fast as Toon promised.
Fantastic.
She understood the assignment. It was so much fun. Thank you for having me.
We're glad
it's also been so nice just getting to know you. I know everything was really fast when we met at Moonshot last year. Thank you for thinking of me and creating this space.
And we're glad that you could make it in person.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
done it justice.
Indeed. I agree. I agree.
Again, thank you for being here on People.
Thank you for coming, Louisa.
Thank you so much. Wishing everybody a Merry Christmas from me and the Kunda Kids team and Kunda and all his friends. Thank you so much, everyone, for riding with us, for supporting with us. Wishing you an amazing time over the holidays and an incredible start for 2026.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of On People. We hope you enjoyed our conversation with Louisa as much as we did. Don't forget to subscribe and listen on all your favorite podcast platforms. To keep the conversation going, drop comments and questions on our social media handles. Until next time, bye for now.